10-foot high, about 25 feet across. Welcome, everybody, to another Saturday at TTRP Theater. I am your host, DM Lake, and I will be leading this group of misadventurers through the trials and tribulations that accompany Curse of Strahd and the horrible places that they have managed to wind up in. As always, we are going to go over our characters' thoughts and feelings, but at the moment, only one of them is currently alive to have any thoughts and feelings. So, unfortunately, the only person who's going to get to speak to you in this moment is Tamara. Tamara, why don't you go ahead and give us just a little bit of insight on how Shava is feeling right now?
Yeah, Shava's a bit of two minds at the moment. One, she's relieved to finally be out of that house, but she's also kind of devastated that all of her friends are dead now. So she doesn't know where to go from here.
It was a very short-lived adventuring team, to be certain. But unfortunately, this is the life that adventurers live. They are dangerous, and sometimes they can come to very sudden, horrifying, and debilitating ends. But sometimes people live on. The story continues. The story will always continue. And that is what we're going to be diving into tonight on Curse of Strahd. We have more characters that will be braving the perils of wherever the hell this place is, and we'll just see what happens to them in the meantime. Again, I am your host, DM Lake, and welcome to Curse of Strahd. So, as we left off. Shava, the sole survivor of the mystical haunted house that claimed so much of her party's lives, has stumbled throughout a seemingly abandoned, at least mostly abandoned village, to find solace inside of a tavern that goes by the name of the Blood of the Vine. As she presses forth into this tavern, there is a brief moment where the story changes back to a more clean-cut, happy-looking, sun-filled land. At the moment, we are looking at a magnificent keep, a famous keep that goes by the name of, well, Candle Keep, known for ages long since past as a trove of literature, knowledge, books, and learning. And inside this keep is a man. Curtis, why don't you go ahead and describe your new character for us?
So, my character is in his early 50s, probably right at about 50, 51. Black hair, got some gray streaks in it, dressed in all dark black and gray, a heavy cape that goes all the way to the floor, with like a kind of a thick fur collar. Typically wears a scale mail armor most of the time with some cloth, like a vest and stuff, just to kind of pretty it up from the outside a little bit. Small spectacles, A thin mustache and beard with streaks of gray, again showing some of his age.
As your character, William, is sitting in the library, as he has on many nights, looking into research, trying to find the answers to which he seeks, the truth that is out there for him to uncover. It is a standard morning in Candlekeep. Outside, people are speaking, passerbys are making their way about. But as you were sitting there having this investigation, you realize it's quieter suddenly. Things are starting to soften. You kind of look up, you look outside, and you can see it's dark, like a very heavy cloud has moved over the sun. As you make your way over towards the cloud, or the door, sorry, and you kind of open it up to peer out, you take a step outside, close the door behind you, but the first thing you notice is that the footsteps they don't step out onto paved road or stone. It's dirt. You can hear the soft crunching beneath your feet. And as you close the door behind you, it closes with a click you're not familiar with. You turn back and you can see that the building you've just stepped out of is unfamiliar to you altogether. Not only that, is the walls that are typically there are missing. There's boarded up windows, almost like you stepped out of an abandoned home. Off towards your left, there's a hill with looks like a shabby looking church set on top of it. And directly across from you, mist filled street covering what seems to be the only source of light here, a simple tavern. Light shining in through the front door, almost like a beacon of invitation, begging you to come forth. And as he steps forward, slowly but surely, slides inside the tavern, and is greeted by his surroundings, the camera changes again. This time, we are on the Tradeway, a stretch of road that leads up between Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate. I believe my memory is correct on that. Very different from the side of Candlekeep. We have here a different altogether looking individual, and I'm just going to let Izzy get right into this.
A half orc standing around 6'1", pretty short for a half orc, but not by any human standard, with gray skin, and you would, for story purposes, know black hair, but he is currently wearing a large metal helmet that goes halfway across both of his shoulders. This man's the size of about a refrigerator in width, and his eyes are currently glowing red through the dark helmet. He is currently wearing extraordinarily well-polished chainmail, as well as what appears to be almost a noble's set of clothing on. And across his chest is a bandolier of what appears to be potions labeled Moriarty's Improved Liquid Moxie Tincture. He is currently walking on the side of the caravan and towards the woods.
Yes. And as you are traveling along, for a brief second, the wheel of the caravan kind of stumbles, and then just kind of slides over and falls off. The individual who is driving the caravan just kind of curses to himself, leans over the side, looks down at you and says, "Damn it." Kind of leers around off towards the woods, towards the left. Slowly creeping in from the ocean side off towards the west is a thin layer of fog. He looks over at you, Dirk, and says, "Go ahead and start setting up camp. We need to get over there sooner than later."
Okay, sir. Do you want me to carry the caravan over too, or do you think the horses can drag it?
We'll manage to drag it. We just got to get the damn wheel fixed.
Okay. And he begins to undo the back and open up the trunk and get all the things out.
As you're doing that, you're kind of gathering some miscellaneous things, and you just kind of huff them over, carrying them over towards the woods to start setting up the basic level of a camp. But as you do so, the fog just kind of rolls in behind you. You turn back for a moment, can't even see the caravan, shouldn't be right. It was not 20 feet away from you. You turn back forward and you see the tree line has disappeared too, even though it's much thinner. And almost like a rolling blanket sweeps over it. As quickly as it came, it rolls away. And you are standing there with a box of miscellaneous things. As you kind of leer about, you see behind you where the caravan was, there is now an open road. Off towards the distance, you can hear the sounds of running water, almost like a river is nearby, but you hadn't passed one of those in a while. Uh, Off ahead of you is a town, and not 200 feet into the middle of town, you see a single font of light cutting through. Nobody else is around, and it's gotten a lot darker than when you were last checking. You step forward, looking back and forth, any signs of people. You slowly step towards the door of the tavern, and as you step inside, the camera cuts away yet again. This time, the scene is far more peaceful. A small city, specifically the city of Succomber, a lovely little settlement known for its beautiful gardens, trees, and orchards. Sitting under a particularly ripe cherry tree is a young halfling. Zoe, why don't you describe your character for us?
Okay, so Vinka is kind of unusual as far as halflings go because she doesn't have the stereotypical brown hair. Her hair is, in fact, kind of a whitish, which, as is quite odd. She's wearing clothes that would be fancy if it looked like she took the time to put them on properly, but she's far too busy of a girl to do that. In her lap is a tome almost half the size as she is. It's bound in leather. It has straps on it and looks like it'd be quite the thing to hit someone with if she wanted to. Aside from that, she has rosy cheeks. Her eyes are big and bright, but also kind of possess a bit of a scrutiny to them. Like everything is to be analyzed. And on this peaceful day, she is just reading from her giant book under this beautiful cherry tree.
And as you sit here reading the book, listening to the familiar sounds of fruits being picked from trees and tossed into baskets, it's kind of a routine that goes on, almost like an ambiance of music of just dunk, dunk. Then you hear it, and there's no dunk, no sound of anything hitting the basket. Everything is quieter. You just kind of glance up for a brief second just to check that nothing's kind of gone amiss. And as you look around, you too see this strange level of mist that is drifting slowly through the edges of the orchard. As you kind of look off to one side, you catch glimpses of trees being swallowed by it. And as it washes over you, you're just kind of sitting there. And then you hear a voice in your ear that says, "Time is here." And as you blink, you're not sure how long you've been sitting here, but it feels like you've been sitting here for hours. Your book is still sitting in your hands, but you feel something itching on the back of your neck, and you kind of move to grab it, and that's when you feel it. Pine needles, hundreds of them just sliding down into your lap, off of your book, down the back of your clothing, your tunic. And you look around, and you see the only trees that are here are 2 or 3 of them. Clearly just pine trees, no fruit on them any kind. And you're not in the garden, you're in some sort of village. There's clean set off towards the southwest. There's a line of look like abandoned houses immediately towards your east. As you kind of pick yourself up and look around, you see directly across the town square from you is the only sound of life or sign of life anywhere, a single beam of light coming from the front door of the tavern. And as you make your way in to investigate, finally, the story continues. As Shava, while you step inside the tavern here, you see that it is empty for this time of night, or at least comparatively empty of what any self-respecting tavern would be. There is a single bald keeper, a somewhat portly balding man, sitting slowly but surely cleaning a glass with a dirty rag. 3 women, all very tanned in skin and long black flowing hair, are sitting by themselves at a table having a conversation amongst themselves. One other individual, besides our party members that we'll get to in a moment, is sitting off towards the far end of the bar, about 5 feet away from a fireplace, and helping himself to a small flagon of what appears to be wine or something to that effect. And you see these three other individuals all standing around the front door of the inn like they just wandered in like you did. And in that moment, you each kind of look around. There hadn't been anyone else walking into the inn when you approached, but sure enough, as each of you walk in and stand here, it's almost like all of you have ended up here at the exact same time.
Yeah, Shama would look around, and then she would immediately just head for the bartender. And she'd kind of walk up to the bar and just kind of lean her hands up against it. And she'd look around, kind of frantic, and she'd go, "Is there a city watch here, or law enforcement of any kind?"
The man who was sitting there cleaning the glass just kind of looks up at you blearily. Wine is a copper, flagon is a silver.
And she'll look around at that and she'll go, "No, you don't understand. I just need help. My friends, they're all dead."
Wine is a copper, pitcher is a silver.
And she'll look around at that point. Just kind of look to see if there's anyone else here that maybe could help her.
Well, this individual just continues to stare at you bleary-eyed. And after a few seconds, you'll hear the man over in the corner kind of call out, "Don't worry about Eric. He's not quite all there. Come over here. Have a seat with me. My name is Ismark."
Shava. She's like, "Do you have a city watch here or any kind of law enforcement at all?"
Afraid we don't have any guards or anything like that here in town. Would you like a glass of wine? Something to calm your nerves?
And she will accept, but then she'll go, "You don't understand. My friends and I, we arrived here earlier, but then they were all murdered by a house."
He waves over towards the bartender. "Eric, give her a glass." And the man just, for the first time, stops cleaning the glass and just kind of sets that same dirty glass forward, pulls out a small flagon, pours in a pint, and then he will carry it over towards the table and just set it down with it before he goes back over, takes another glass and begins to clean it with that same dirty rag, almost monotonously. "I'm afraid I do not know what to tell you. If you and your friends ventured into the haunted house on the side of town, I'm sorry to say you are not the first to have had their lives claimed by it. It is a cursed place."
And she'll look at him and she'll be like, "Yeah, I've gathered that." And she will down half of her ale.
All right. Well, it is not ale. It is a very thick purple wine. It is very heavy with the taste of grape and almost bitter on your tongue. But you can tell that this has clearly been fermented with utmost care, as it is extremely potent and almost bubbles as it goes down. "What about your friends over there?" And he will gesture towards the three new individuals who come in. "It's not typical that we have people come in who don't know each other. Outside, there's empty like."
So we all just kind of appear at the door.
It was like, as you all stepped in through the door, a few feet from the door, you look to your left and your right, and you realize you all were just standing in a line. Like you'd walked in the door at the exact same time and hadn't noticed each other.
Interesting.
Yeah, because as he says that, I'll look at them and we go, "No, they're not with me."
Are you sure? They look like they came here with you.
And she'll kind of look around, unsure for a minute. She'll be like, "No, I'm almost certain I came in by myself."
But forgive me for my rudeness, friends. If you've got to join us, feel free. There are plenty of chairs for everyone, and drinks are on me.
Oh, sure. If the drinks are on you, then I'll absolutely come. And as Dirk's walking over, he'll grab a chair, turn it the wrong way around, and sit in it. So what town are we in? I don't remember this being on the trade road. It's not part of my usual kit.
No, you all are in the town of Barovia.
Never heard of it. Good town, long town, new town.
It's a town on hard times, but it's home. Don't go out.
Well, I am a bit of a traveling merchant here. If you would like to buy any of my wares, I have a great tonic that I think you could use very well. And I'm starting to pick up your accent.
I don't think I'm going to need any of that.
Are you sure? It's a great medicine if you have any back pains, if you have any stamina issues, maybe you.
This is very interesting. Can I have some wine, please?
Okay. You know, I understand when I'm not welcome, but I'll take a beer.
Well, I'm afraid we don't serve ale here. All we have is wine.
I'll take one wine.
You'll gesture over towards Eric, who will again pour out 2 more pints into these dirty glasses and carry them over and set them down kind of abruptly in front of you before he returns back to his task.
Before that happens, Vinka would raise a tiny little hand and go, "Excuse me, one for me as well," and then slam her giant tome onto the desk, throw open the pages, and start scribbling with her quill. "Barovia, you say? I've never heard of such a place."
He'll gesture one more towards the bartender and says, "Oh, yes, this is the village of Barovia."
Interesting. And how do you bring people here? Because I was under my tree in the orchard, and then the orchard was gone, and that's quite strange. A teleportation?
I'm afraid I don't follow you. What do you mean bring people here?
Because I was definitely somewhere else before I came here. So that's very interesting.
Well, I can assure you I did not have anything to do with anyone coming here. It's a story I've heard before, I must be honest. Strange adventurers coming here, having no idea where they are, and claiming that they have been swallowed by fog or led here by gypsies.
Very curious. And she'd actually write that down in her book as well.
Say, do you happen to know the rough population of this town?
I haven't exactly done a count in some time.
Maybe close friends?
He'll kind of take a moment and just look off into the air, take a drink from his flagon of wine. It's hard to say. Most people stay holed up in their homes. I think the last count that was done may have been my grandfather's time, and at that point it was maybe 300. It has gone down significantly since.
Huh. Okay. Can't believe I missed this place over all the years.
Of all the different ways that people have been getting in, do you know how people have been getting out?
Well, I'm afraid to tell you, friend, that I've never heard of anyone getting out.
Isn't that interesting?
Pardon?
Well, to clear up some confusion, this is the village of Barovia, but the place you find yourselves now in is also the valley of Barovia. I understand it can be a bit confusing, but I figured I would do the honor of giving you that much at least. The edges of the valley, to the east and west and north and south, even if you climb the mountains, there is mist. No one has ever managed to get through the mist, or maybe they have, but anyone who has ever tried is either found dead or never seen again.
Huh. I must have made a wrong turn at Neverwinter.
No, never seen again doesn't mean they didn't get out. It just means they didn't come back.
This is true, and if I were managed to get out of here, I would never come back either. But
Exactly.
considering most people who walk into the fog are found dead later.
You know, I would like to poke around a little bit, but, I've always liked to know my exit as I enter a place, just to make sure. Nice
Wish
book.
yours, but I would be careful if I were you. Barovia is full of dangers, wolves, and worse at that. But I suppose I've kept you all long enough. I hope you enjoyed your wine.
Thanks.
Before he goes, Shava would look over and she goes, so there's no one I can speak with. Do you guys have a ruler or leader or someone?
Well, the previous burgomaster to the town was my father, Kolyana, but I'm afraid he passed away 3 days ago. I guess that means I'm the new burgomaster, but not exactly in any position to take over the duties.
And hearing that name, because that name sounds familiar, Shava's gonna like rifle through her bag and pull out that letter she pocketed earlier. She's gonna say, Kolyan, I found this letter from him, and she'll show it to him.
He kind of, that was weird. He kind of looks at the letter for a moment. You mind if and he gestures for it.
Yeah, and she'd hand it over.
He will unfurl it and kind of look it up and down for a moment. And then he kind of gives a grimace and he will fold it back and hand it back to you. It's one of the last things he read before he died. I take it that means Oscar was not successful in delivering it.
And she'll say, no, he wasn't.
That's a damn shame. Well, thank you for bringing this to my attention. It is yet another thing that we have to worry about. At that point, he kind of considers for a moment. He pulls out looks like an electrum piece out of his pocket and starts to run it underneath his thumb. I don't suppose you all are going to be traveling west then, looking for information.
Honestly, I'm just looking for any kind of information right now.
Well, if you are going to look for anything, you might try the fortified town of Velaki. It's in the center of the valley, south of Lake Zarovich. It's easy enough to find if you just follow the old Zvalage Road, the only one that runs through the valley proper. There's a city that's in no shape compared to Barovia. At the very least, people go about their day, or at least so as I remember. The stories my father told me, I've never actually been myself. But I'm actually in need of a little help. If you all would come by my mansion either later tonight if you feel preferred, or if you're tired, it would be fine if you came by tomorrow morning. I could use your help with something.
Well, I ain't free. I don't know about these other people. Nerd, what are you reading?
What's your name again?
My name is Izmar Kolyanovich.
What do your friends call you?
Ismark.
Bismarck.
Not that I have very many friends. In truth, anyone who calls me anything, they call me Ismark the Lesser. But I would appreciate it if you don't call me that.
No, of course not. That's a terrible name. You have a mansion.
Yeah, so my father's home, the burgomaster's mansion, but again, I suppose it is mine and my sister's now that he's passed.
Oh, so you're saying you have a sister?
Yes, actually, the thing I'd like to ask you about is in relatance to her, but we can talk about that over at the mansion.
Okay, sure.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you. And he looks around and he realizes that he didn't get all of your names, but he doesn't seem to dwell on the fact too much. He will walk over to the bar, just kind of set that electrum piece down on the counter and make his way out. The moment that he does, you hear a little snicker come off from the other side of the room as one of those women kind of raises a shawl up to your face and just starts to laugh. So you're going to do work for Ismark the Lesser? No, that's not going to go well for you. That boy doesn't have anything to his name, and he's only lived his entire life in his father's shadow. He's nothing. You're better off just living your own life, not worrying about what his problems are.
I mean, he has a mansion.
His father had the mansion. He stumbled us backwards into it. It isn't his.
I mean, if he can control the deed, he can give it to me. But seriously, nerd, what are you reading? Why do you have a book that big? No one needs a book that big.
if Vinka will close her book a little bit and just kind of look at Dirk and go, "It's none of your business."
Okay. Well, if you ever need your eyesight fixed, let me know. I got a great tincture for that.
Sure. I'll be sure to let you know.
I pull one off my bandolier. It's only 10 gold.
10 gold.
Yeah. Perfect.
Maybe I'll ask Daddy for some money later.
I like you. Anyway, it has a bunch of this stuff that these clerics will just don't want you to know about. Just if you ever need anything, just let me know, okay? And you weird one. I'm waiting for one of you.
Who's he talking to?
Yes. Hi.
Are you talking to me?
Oh,
Yeah, like
yes.
we'll look at each other.
What are you doing?
Even the GM was confused in that instance.
I'm more interested in the moment of this poor distressed person who is sitting in front of us, who is asking for help as well, because everybody seems to be ignoring that fact.
Yeah, she's just sitting there now, drinking this wine, but she'll look at you and she'll go, "I came here same as you all, I guess. My friends and I just woke up here one day, or actually it was just yesterday, and now they're all dead."
Oh, well, I also have something that might be able to cure that. And I pull out an identical bottle. This will bring them back to life if you want.
That is a terrible omen indeed. I'm sorry to hear that. What's your name?
Shava.
Shava, my name is William. Pleasure to meet you.
I can never make a sale.
Nice to meet you as well.
If you have 10 gold to throw away, it's the quickest way to get my half-orc friend, compatriot. I don't know what's
the one that
happening
brings
here.
people back to life is 25 gold.
She's like, even if I maybe thought that would work, there's no way to get to their bodies now.
Oh.
Well, no, I was just talking about more as a price to get him to be quiet. But
I'm sorry. I'll drink my wine.
I'm sorry to hear about your friends. It sounds... You said a house?
Yes, when we entered town, these children asked us for help, and when we went to find them, when we went to help them, we were trapped in their house.
Maybe we should go to this house and find out what's going on with these children.
No, we shouldn't. The house is cursed, like you said.
I couldn't help myself.
Kind of half listening to the conversation as she's scribbling, the halfling looks up and says, "Oh, my name is Vinka. I'm terribly sorry about your friends. But like all good puzzles, there's a way out of here. There has to be."
Interesting. Maybe this gentleman with the mansion, who I hope has better wine than this place does, would be able to provide some more insight. He didn't seem very helpful here, but it could be possible that we could pry some information out of him. Not that it will bring your friends back. I'm not sure what we can be done about that.
I mean, if you don't like your wine, I'll finish it.
I'll finish my wine. Thank you.
Okay, just making sure. Well, I kind of lost my caravan and most of my supplies, but I hate to do this to you. Mind if I hang out with one of you for a little while?
To be honest, none of us should probably wander around alone. This place is, it's very odd.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I am fairly large, so if you ever need protection, you can always pay me, and I'll absolutely do it for you.
I was about...
just gonna look at him. Oh, but she won't respond.
No, go ahead.
You know, I'll do it for free.
I roll my eyes.
I am now your bodyguard.
So are you going to be purchasing a room here or not? It's a gold for a night.
I left my gold pouch back with the caravan.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess you'll be sleeping outside. Listen for the wolves.
Point of order, how much money do we start with? Anything at all? Or if
You start with whatever is in your class's background.
I,
Oh.
I
spent
should
that.
probably roll that.
Well, no, your background is a set amount.
I have,
It's just part of the equipment you get for starting as that type of background.
We'll start 15 gold pieces.
Yeah, I'll say each of you can just mark down 20 for ease.
oh, okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I won't be sleeping outside. One of my great friends here, my new best friends here. What was your name? Will, you said?
William
Don't you
Catesby.
think a good old friend here could use a room to sleep in?
Yes, it looks like I'm going to need a room to sleep in, apparently, if I'm going to be here for the night.
There's still a gold piece.
A gold piece?
Yes.
I can manage that. Is it cheaper? Do you have a double room? Can we pair up and save?
No, but I won't charge you extra because you have somebody sleeping on your floor.
Okay.
Consider that a gift.
Someone's sleeping on me. All right. So I'll flip him a gold.
You kind of toss a gold over to the table, and she just kind of picks it up and looks at it for a moment. Ah, you have that foreigner's currency. Haven't seen this in a while.
It's nice and shiny.
Money is money.
Zinka's happy to pay her 1 gold. It's paltry cash.
Oh, yeah,
let's do
Shava
you pay.
will pay as well.
So 3 of you pay, sliding over 3 gold. As you do, the woman will call over to Eric. These 3 may sleep until the morning. And if the tall one moves anywhere else other than his room, well, just let us know. And the man who's behind the bar just kind of turns over mid-cleaning his glass, but doesn't say a word, or he just turns back and continues to doing that task.
So who am I crashing with?
You can sleep on my floor.
Perfect. I request a pillow. Okay, no pillow. Let's get going.
Fold up your cloak.
Each of you make your way upstairs to these. They're not ramshackle rooms. This is a relatively modest inn, and certainly not something you would typically pay a gold for. But the doors close. They do not appear to lock. 1 second. And I would like each of you, minus Izzy, to roll me a D8. Sure.
I automatically.
Just a straight D8 roll?
Just a straight D8 roll.
Oh, that's terrible.
So as each of you make your way up into your rooms, choosing the ones that are easily available, as you were not assigned any,
Nice.
you begin to settle yourselves down. Izzy, whose room were you crashing in for my reference?
Williams.
Williams, okay. And you all managed to work yourselves down into a long rest. As the night is slowly waning on, Vinka, William, and Dirk, you catch some kind of flash of light leering in from the window. And after a few seconds, you're not quite sure what it is, but then you realize something green is shining through it.
Hey, William.
Derek,
Wait.
what are you doing?
That's not me there, brother. But go check the window. I think someone's spying on us. I don't really care if they look at me, but I want to make sure that you're okay.
All right. I'll go check the window.
Okay. What about you, Vinka?
Vinka is in her bed, snuggled up to her book when she notices the green flashing light coming through the window, and she would actually stand on her bed to kind of stand as tall as she can to look out.
Okay. As you two actually leer out the window and look up and down, you realize that the light is coming up from the graveyard on the hill behind the church. And as you watch it for a few moments, you see figures. Somebody just left. Oh, that was me. Whoopsie. Give me 1 second to fix that because you know what? That's fine. He can just stay gone. We don't need him right now. As you watch for a moment, you see as figures start to walk their way down from the graveyard and into the city streets, a ghostly procession of some kind, wavering images of dowdy women toting great swords, woodwise men with slender bows, dwarves with glittering axes, and archaically dressed mages with beards and strange pointed hats, all of them marching down the street as if in unison past the inn that you all are currently staying in.
Okay. We're just walking down the street.
You're just walking down the street, almost like a parade.
Dirk, come here.
Do I have to? I just got comfortable.
Come here and look at this.
Fine. Gets up, walks over to the window. What you got here, buddy?
Look at that stuff.
And
How many is the train? How many people do you do?
Looking through it, there are you would say there's dozens, maybe bordering even on triple digits, but more still continuing to march down from the graveyard.
Okay.
Didn't the guy downstairs say that this was a small population town? This is a little bit bigger than a small population, if I would say so myself.
Dirk, stop
What?
talking and
Okay.
look. Can I tell where they seem to be going to from my vantage point?
You see that as they make their way out in front of the tavern, they turn right off towards the west side of town, and they seem to be following the road out of town.
Well, this is curious. Very curious.
I wonder how many of them need a potion.
Do they look like people, or I am interested in the fact that they are coming from a graveyard if they are of undead nature?
Make me, we'll tie this together in one neat check. Go ahead and make me an insight check, please.
Insight. Where's insight? Oh, there it is.
Alrighty. Looking at them, you can immediately discern two things. One, they are wavering images. These are clearly some form of ghost or poltergeist or some other undead to that capacity. But just looking at them, they don't appear to be commoners. Each and every one of these gives you the striking impression of, well, an adventurer, someone who travels around and makes their trade by plunging deep depths in dangerous places.
Very curious. I love not getting the Frank rolls anymore. A William roll. I love it. Dirk, these are not people. These look like ghosts or spirits.
As evidenced by the fact that they are green and see-through.
Oh, and then there's that.
Hey, I don't judge anyone by the color of their skin. But if they are ghosts, that means the graveyard's not haunted right now, and we can go plunder some graves. You want to go do that right now there, buddy? We don't have to worry about it anymore.
Dirk, where your mind goes is amazing. Maybe we should go check on the little one.
The nerd. Sure. I don't know where. I got threatened that I can't leave this room, so
Okay.
You go do that.
You stay here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go knock on Vinka's room.
You hear the little voice from inside going, "Come in."
You go in.
All right, yeah. So I go in, and I was trying to think of a proper greeting. I don't even know if we actually introduced ourselves, but I'll assume by this point we probably have, or maybe we haven't.
She introduced her name, so.
Vinka, my name is William. I'm babysitting the salesman.
Yeah,
And-
she waves her hand at you and says, "Never mind that. Do you see
Yes,
the parade?"
of ghosts or spirits of some sort. Are you all right?
Oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine. This is fascinating.
It is very curious indeed. However, I am not comforted by this omen at all. All right. Well, I was just more, concerned. You're small, and wanted to make sure you were all right.
And she just kind of blinks at that and tries to process what small and being all right has to do with each other. And then she goes, "Oh, well, thank you for your concern. After the parade is over, I'm probably going to go back to bed. I'll see you in the morning."
Yes, in the morning. Sorry to have bothered you.
No problem at all. Rest well.
You too. And I'll go back, and the halfling is fine.
Oh, that's great. I bet she, if she really needed to in a pinch, I bet she could hit someone with that book and knock them right out. I don't think she'll have an issue. I
would bet that she probably already has.
I think I understand that you're trying to threaten me here, and I'm going to shut up and lay down.
I'm going to go back to the window and watch the line.
All right. You watch it for maybe another minute or so as the tail end begins to get a little thinner and the last stretches of the procession finally march their way out of town. All in all, with as many people as you were seeing and just the numbers you were counting, easily triple digits, maybe 200, 250 total.
Did I notice anybody else peeking out windows, watching the parade? Like, you see silhouettes and windows across the street or anything like that? No?
No. Seems like you were the only one.
No other people out on the street standing by, trying to pick up candy or anything? Okay.
But judging by how tired you are, you get the feeling that actually looking out, I will say you can actually see the moon through the gray clouds in the sky. You estimate it's probably around midnight right about now.
All right. Well, as much as I want to go chase them down to see where they go, I suppose I'll go back to bed and consider this.
So, you all wander off back towards your beds as the procession disappears out of view and the green light fades altogether. With the ghostly images no longer haunting you, each of you can slowly but surely work yourselves back to sleep and finish a long rest. As the morning comes, you realize each of you get the immediate feeling that you all have slept in. There is no sun to wake you. As you look out towards the windows, you see that no light is making its way in through the windows, and barely any is managing to grace the streets. Looking up at the sky, it is gray, it is bleak, and it is completely overcovered. And as you do it, you can hear these soft sprinkles of rain start to fall upon it before the entire village itself is completely and totally engulfed in rainfall.
Beautiful day.
I mean, it could be worse, maybe.
I'm not even sure if it is day.
Well, why don't you go check on the little one, because you said that you're so worried about her, and I'm going to go over to see if that other person that was here, the frantic one, the one that had their imaginary friends killed by a magic house, I'm going to go check on them. Maybe they need a little tonic to stay up in the morning.
All right, Dirk, you go do that. And I'll go next door and knock on Vinka's room.
Practically blundering through the door at you is Vinka with her heavy bound book, and she's seemingly excited. She goes, "Okay, we have ghosts walking in the street, and we have a haunted house, as well as mist that swallows the entire town like an entire orchard. What is this place? I am so fascinated."
William is he's got this very Game of Thrones-ish sort of appearance with his big cape and stuff, and he's just smiling down at you with just the faintest smile, because he's also very interested in knowledge, but just your fascination of it fascinates him. I'm just not as boisterous about it as you. It is very curious, little Vinka. Should we have some breakfast and maybe talk about it? I believe that Dirk is going to wake the rogue and try to sell her something and perhaps then we can get breakfast.
That sounds wonderful. I would like a bite to eat. It's been a while since I've been given a puzzle this intriguing, so I hope we get more clues soon.
We'll definitely get something, even if it's just wet. So, yeah, I think we should go downstairs and wait for Dirk and Shava to join us.
At Shava's door, Dirk is going to essentially punch the door 3 times.
Yeah, as he does that, he just hears like the fluttering of wings and this hooting noise. As Shava will approach the door, she'll open it as she pulls up her hood on her cloak. Yes?
Oh, geez, you look terrible this morning. Did you get a good sleep? I bet you didn't get a good sleep. You know, I got something that could fix that for you right here. It's just 5 gold pieces. But the rest of the party is downstairs if you want to join us.
I'm sure, of course. I have nothing better to do.
Okay, that sounds great. But how about this tincture? I got another one right here that'll keep you awake.
And she'll just kind of walk past him as the owl just kind of flies out the door behind her.
I'll take that as a rain check.
Okay. So as all of you make your way downstairs, you can see there are only 2 people currently in the tavern this morning. The barkeeper, whom, judging by what he's doing, still just turning that dirty rag through that glass. You're not sure if he even went to bed. He seems to not have budged an inch. Only one other individual is in the tavern. It's one of the 3 women who were sitting there last night. She's sitting at a table by herself, looking at the back of her nails and seemingly appraising a ring on one of her fingers. Neither one of them seem to pay you any mind.
Yeah, the others are sitting. I'd go and join them.
The other people in there are they're customers, local.
The
customers?
bartender and one of the women who was here last night.
Oh, the woman that was there last night. Once everybody is seated, if that's what everybody's going to do, I'm going to order a glass of wine for the morning, and then I'm going to excuse myself from the table and go approach the old lady. Is it an old lady? I'm assuming it's an old
No,
lady.
she's not too old. She's between 30 or 40 or so.
Oh, she's a kid to me then, so.
Sure. As you step over to the bar and order a drink, the man just kind of stops for a moment, looks you dead in the eye and says, "The copper for a pint, silver for a flagon."
Pint of wine. All right, so I'll put a silver on the bar.
Okay. He will take the mug that he was cleaning, set it down, and then he will just take an entire pitcher and just kind of set it down next to it, and then hold out his hand.
Interesting. Okay. All right, I'll pick it up and put it in his hand. There you go.
All right. He will take it and just drop it below, and you hear tink somewhere.
What's in the flagon? I thought they didn't have ale here. I thought all they had was wine.
Sorry. No, it is a full pitcher, but it is just full of that purple wine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It seems they take their wine very seriously here.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's not what I had in mind. But, yes, I'm going to kind of give the lady a look, nod and a smile. Hello, some nice nonverbals. And then, are you from here? I saw you in here last night.
She kind of looks over her fingers at you and gives you an appraising once over. Me and my sisters own this inn.
Ah, an entrepreneur.
Something
Nice.
like that.
Were you, I'm curious, while we slept last night, I was awakened by an interesting light. And, well, did you happen to see the parade of ghosts on your city street last night?
At this point, she kind of leans in, places her hands underneath your chin, and just says, I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
I'm assuming that's a yes. Is this a common occurrence here? My name is William, by the way. And I'll offer my hand, introduce myself.
Make me we'll call this a persuasion check, William.
Okay.
We'll see what kind of impression you're making on this fine young woman.
I'm down with that. With my massive charisma of
19.
Oh.
She'll look at you for a second, and then she will move her hand over and set it in yours. I am Mirabelle. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, William.
Mirabelle. Very nice name. Is this a common occurrence, Mirabelle? This beautiful parade?
Oh, if you mean the ghosts, they tend to come out every night around midnight. They don't harm anybody, though. You can ignore them.
Interesting. Where are they all going?
From what I've heard, I've never made the trip at night myself. Too dangerous to go out after dark. But from what I hear, they head up to Castle Ravenloft.
Castle Ravenloft.
Did you not see it on your way in? If you want to, just take a look outside and look off in that direction. And she'll point off towards, you have no idea, but say the northwest.
Right.
It's up on the mountain. You can't miss it.
Well, as I'm sure you've probably heard stories and are aware, my appearance in this place didn't give me much of the welcome tour, so I haven't seen it as of yet. But I appreciate your information. Thank you very much, and enjoy your morning. I'm going to... did he give a glass with my pitcher of wine?
Yes, he gave you just a glass and a pitcher. He didn't even pour it for you.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to grab my glass and my pitcher and nod and smile as I bid my farewell and go back to the table.
Okay, you make your way back over to the table.
Pour my wine, if the waiter or whoever comes back around, we should get glasses for everybody. This is a lot of wine. I'll set the pitcher in the middle of the table. The ghostly parade, Vinka, is apparently a nightly occurrence. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, guys.
I think that was the bartender. I think he might be done.
Excuse me. No, I had chili for lunch.
Is that the change of shifts alarm?
Knocked over a space heater. Sorry, guys.
Well, that is a lot of wine, and I would hate to see it go to waste as he reaches out for the pitcher. Does anyone here have anything that I could eat? You don't want a best friend to go starve. Look at this frame. I can't just not go eating.
We'll order up some breakfast, Dirk. Don't worry about it. Vinka, did you hear me that the parade apparently is a nightly occurrence that leads up to Castle Ravenloft?
That's incredible.
You might want to write that in your book.
Yes, of course I do. And she, beautifully adds that little bit of information to her book.
William doesn't have any adornments other than just his dark furriness, but he does have a chain around his neck, and at the end of it is the emblem of like an opened scroll, two rolled ends, but it's completely blank. There's nothing written on it. Just hangs from the chain, just a small emblem.
Interesting. Does that spark any recognition within Vinka?
I don't know how.
Make a religion check.
Religion check, you said?
Yes. I believe this is your holy symbol. So you recognize this as the holy symbol to Ogma, the god of knowledge. It is just a blank sheet of parchment, or looks like that, but well engraved and embossed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's not going to let on that she knows what that means, but she definitely likes William a lot more now. She's like, this guy's cool. He's in my group.
As you all are conversating and mentioned eating breakfast, the woman will call out, "If you want the breakfast, it's gold for breakfast as well. I'm sure I have some bread and cheese sitting around here somewhere."
A gold for bread and cheese.
It's
For the
hard to get supplies here.
For the four of us?
She looks around for a second. I'll tell you what. I'll throw yours in for free, William, since you're so charming.
Vinka just pays, no question. She wants bread and cheese.
I'll chip in as well.
I got this great tonic over here that can prevent you from aging. If you would like to trade that for a good meal.
You know what, Dirk? I will buy you a meal for a bottle of your tonic.
Okay, here you are. It's a bottle that's clearly labeled. It's red with a bunch of sparkles in it.
The liquid is red and sparkly?
Yes.
So it have
Glittery,
a little
some would say.
a cork I can pull it off and smell?
Smells of menthol.
There are metal filaments floating around inside.
Menthol.
Yeah. It's a very overbearing peppermint smell.
Ah.
And this is supposed to do what?
That one right there, that will keep you awake for as long as you need.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Dirk. I appreciate that. I'm going to, I may need this.
Yeah, anytime.
And now I'm going to stick it inside my cloak.
Okay. As you all hand over the gold pieces, she will actually walk over to collect them themselves and kind of look them through. And then she will head off back and towards what you must presume is the kitchen as she walks back behind the bartender. As she walks away, though, and you see the fire of the fireplace kind of catch her in a good light. Let's see here. Who's going to notice this? Actually, all of you go ahead and make me perception checks.
Perception check.
You say athletics?
Perception.
What's happening with my rolls today? Amen.
Yeah, that one was close to a Frank roll there.
Okay. So, Vinka, as you see her walk away, you notice something a little odd. As she just makes her way off towards the back room, the way the light catches her, her shadow seems to dance animatedly, but does not seem to follow her movements properly. Almost like it's moving of its own accord.
Interesting. Vinka would walk into the middle of the room and try to test her shadow to see if there's like alternate light sources. And once she's convinced that that's not natural, she would sit back down. Do you want to see that?
What? Did they come out with the food already?
No. The lady's shadow was quite peculiar.
I mean, it was a shadow.
Watch it when she comes back.
I ain't gonna judge.
And as you say that, Shava will look at you and she'll say, I've seen a lot of strange things happen here. This is a very odd place.
Oh, you can say that again with a train of ghosts coming out, waking me up at the middle of the night.
And when you say that, she'll look at you. She'll go, ghost.
Oh, you didn't see that? The big glaring green light coming in through the window?
No, I must have slept through it.
Yeah, all the ghosts decided to not haunt the graveyard anymore and just ran down the middle of the thoroughfare. That does mean, however, that every night that the graveyard's completely unguarded. So if you ever want to go visit the graveyard after midnight, I'm your
Dirk,
man.
the curious thing, Dirk, is that all of those ghosts, did you notice their appearance?
They were green, and
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the person, the ghost itself they were all adventuring types. They looked like explorers and adventurers and fighters, and they are all on a nightly procession to this Castle Ravenloft.
yeah, I got nothing. Where's the food?
It takes her about a minute, but the woman does come back with just a small bar. What looks like a quarter chunk of a cheese wheel and just 2 loaves of somewhat stale bread that she just kind of drops on the counter. Enjoy your breakfast. She turns and she walks back towards the table.
Stale I
Looks
can handle.
delicious.
Moldy is another thing. There's your breakfast, Dirk. Enjoy.
Looks delicious. Do you want a piece?
I would. Thank you.
He cuts it off. 20, 80, keeps the 80, holds out the 20.
Just as a matter of small talk, I would ask Shava, what happened? I mean, tell us your story.
My friends and I were on a mission for a gentleman looking for his daughter. When all of a sudden we found ourselves here. As we looked around, we were approached by 2 children in the street who said that there was a monster in their house. So we went to help them, but everything went very wrong from there.
Yes, I can imagine. The last time someone told me that there was a monster in the house, it was not good.
You see, your problem was that you trusted a kid. Never trust kids. Never up to good.
Well, there are certainly strange things afoot in this house. When are we supposed to meet?
He said anytime.
Bismarck?
Bismarck. He said when?
In the morning or that night.
Oh.
Forget.
Anytime, huh?
You got anything to say here, nerd, or are you just going to keep reading that book of yours?
I've been listening this whole time, and I don't appreciate you hugging the cheese. And she would actually try to take some of the cheese from him.
Hey, that has good protein in it. You can have the bread.
Just kind of
Yeah,
glare at Dirk.
Shava's just got like a small piece of bread that she's not even eating herself. She's feeding it to the owl that accompanies her.
Oh, the owl. That's interesting. What's the owl's name?
She'll look at you. She'll say, Feynamar.
Paydamar. What kind of an owl is it?
He's just like a regular, like, tawny owl. So he's got light brown feathers with dark brown speckles.
Owls are extremely smart birds.
Why don't you look at you? She'll go, yes, he certainly is.
And typically, a good omen, Dirk, is the owl. So things are looking up. So I'm curious about this Castle Ravenloft, and as much as I wanted to, I kept myself from chasing the ghosts to wherever their end was last night, because for some reason I feel attached to you, crew. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's this visit to the mansion. We should go up there. After breakfast, of course, and if there's anything anybody else needs to do, we could accomplish that. Maybe we should hit him up around lunchtime. Maybe we can test his hosting abilities. It's a mansion, after all. At least that's the way he described it.
Good idea. Perhaps they have better food.
Yes, or at least more of it, Dirk.
I don't get what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It all tastes delicious, by the way. Oh, your name was Shava, right? Look, I understand if you don't want to go inside that house, considering all of your friends died inside a house. But I will gladly guard you outside the house if you wish. Okay.
She'll say, I'd prefer to not go there if we don't have to.
Well, I'll gladly follow this group. These two obviously want to go, and we can go with them. And I will make sure no one accosts you outside that house. No one sees Dirk Hardsteel and goes, "Oh, we should mess with that person." Good deal. Okay.
I can imagine not.
No. Have you seen these pecs? They're about the size of your head there, little guy.
Uh-huh.
See Vinka just roll her eyes and see the trees when he's not looking.
Well, you all just do not have a sense of humor.
Lake, is that lady still in the tavern?
She's just sitting there, seemingly admiring her pedicure.
She's one
So
of the
Shaka
owners.
will look at the others and she'll say, I will be right back. She's just going to approach the lady and she'll go, good morning.
She kind of looks up. Oh, is there something else that you need?
I was just wondering if you had a store here or general goods.
Sure. Just across the street, you want to find the Bildress Mercantile. I hope you have the coin to afford him. He's not cheap.
She'll thank her and head back to the table.
At this point, Dirk is finishing up the last of the bread and cheese and is going to go, "Okay, when are we leaving? Anyone?
We should probably leave now,
Okay. Sounds good to me."
unless anyone has anything else they need to do here.
Not particularly.
I do not.
And she'll look at everyone. She'll go, I found out there's a store across the street. I don't need anything at the moment, but if anyone else did.
Well, I'm perfectly okay. I don't got much money on me anyway. Before taking out a ration and starting gnawing on it. Is there any like silverware on this table? Or did they just give us a plate?
They did not even give you a knife to cut the cheese.
That sucks.
You guys are a bunch of immature individuals, and I'm not going to tolerate that.
I'm giving this place a 0 out of 5 stars on Yelp. Let's get going.
We probably all had a dagger. Somebody had a dagger, I'm sure, Dirk.
Yes. You found a way to individually divide up the cheese. All right. As you start to gather your things up and start to make your way out, Vinka, you notice on a page, as you're just flipping through your book, there is a small set of words scrawled into the margins. At first, you think they're written in halfling, but the way they're written is kind of obtuse. Go ahead and make me a general intelligence check. All right. It takes you just a few seconds to kind of piece together, and you realize that somebody has left a little rhyme in your book that reads, "Open of mouth, closed of mind, doom and despair, what they'll find."
Dirk, there's a poem of you in here.
What? Let me read. Oh, I can't read that.
That's okay, I'll tell it to you later.
Oh, that sounds great.
And she will remember the poem that has suddenly shown up on her page for later.
Okay. But with that, you all can make your way out of the inn. It is at least brighter out today. Not something with, there is no sun in the sky that you can see. Very heavy cloud overcast, you must assume, especially with the rain pouring down. No sign of light other than the meekness that is washing down upon the town around you. The light from the interior of the tavern still shines up behind you, as bright as it was the night before. And there is now another light shining from just slightly across the street. Sitting there is a sign that reads quite plainly, Bildrath's Mercantile. It squeaks noisily on the hinges, even in the rain. But you all make your way across the street. And as you kind of make your way towards the door and help yourself in, you can see that this store itself, the first and foremost, does not have the greatest selection. This does not appear to be a very well-stocked general store. And just as you look around at the prices, to your immediate horror, you can see even trivial things have been marked up significantly. At the going rate, anything in the player's handbook, just to break character a little bit, that is under 25 gold pieces, you can find here. It is marked up 10 times.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then I thought I was running a scam. I mean, wow. Okay.
And Shaka will look around and she'll go, does she see anyone?
You see that sitting behind the counter is a grumpy-looking old man with a very hooked nose and a tooth sticking down past his lip. His hair is a very dirty brown, and there is a single long line down the side here where apparently he's been cut at some point in his life, and it just never recovered.
I hate to do this, but can I get the poem one more time for my notes?
Open of mouth, closed of mind, doom and despair, what they'll find.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is an outrageous display of the law of supply and demand, Vinka.
You all going to buy something or not?
Oh,
Not.
Trying to run a business here.
And yes, you are taking great strides in the pursuit of capitalism, and I greatly appreciate that. Tip of the hat to you, sir. Oh, tip of the helmet. But I'm just going to be a window shop if you don't mind.
Don't stay too long or I'll charge you for standing around.
I like you.
Ooh.
I don't even think Daddy would be okay with me shopping here.
If you don't like my prices, well, you can just deal with it. It's not like you have anywhere else to go.
That is absolutely true. You've got us there, good sir. I'm going to stand just outside and smoke my pipe.
Okay.
As the others do their window shopping and just observe the town or village.
Yeah, Shaka would take a quick look around and then she'd leave as well. As she kind of shakes her head as she walks out the door.
Dirk contemplatively stares at the most expensive item, trying to figure out if he could fit it in his backpack and how quickly before walking out, deciding it's not worth it.
Okay. So you'll take a few moments before you realize this is just an egregious abuse of supply and demand with a lot of demand, but very little supply. As you all make your way outside, though, Kurt, as William is standing there, lighting up his pipe, giving it a soft puff, and just taking a breath in the rain, you hear a moaning sob start to float its way throughout the streets. And as you take a moment to look around, you can make out that it seems to be coming from a house just 2 doors down.
Very curious. Did you hear that?
What? No, I didn't hear anything.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Nope, didn't hear anything.
It does sound like someone rather distressed.
Yeah, I'm going to take a peek down the street. Can I see from the direction it's coming from, or...
As you leer off towards the direction, judging from where you think it's coming from, it seems to be coming from inside a dark 2-story townhouse. And just looking at it, you can see this building is very heavily barricaded. The windows are boarded up. The door is shut. Seems like somebody has gone through a great deal of effort of making sure nothing can get in.
It seems to be coming from that house.
As far as you can tell, yes.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that they don't want visitors right now, judging by the way it looks.
What if somebody's trapped inside, Dirk?
I mean, that's a good old case of their problem, isn't it? It's their house.
And that Shava will say, I've had bad experiences with the houses in this neighborhood, but even I think that perhaps we should go and help her.
The home's in disrepair. She's not going to have the coin to pay us.
It's not about the money, Dirk.
It's always about the money, William.
The money will come.
I've heard that before. What do you think, nerd? You're on my side, right? The smart side.
We can't leave people to their despair.
You
I mean, we can, but...
Why would you ruin someone's perfectly good depression?
Exactly. Let's go check this out. I'm going to walk down the street towards the moaning sound and investigate the windows and door and just kind of get a scope of the place from the outside.
Make me an investigation check.
Sort of just,
All right. As you look around the house, you notice that all of the windows, both on the top and bottom floor, have been barricaded from the inside, not from the outside, like some of the other houses you may have noticed. And the immediate impression it gives you is not that people were trying to keep something out, but more like they were trying to keep something in. But you do notice that on one of the interior windows, or around the side of the house, one of the planks seems to have been pulled off from the inside and hung down. There's a small gap that someone smaller could potentially fit through.
I'm seriously thinking that somebody may be imprisoned inside this place. Vinka, it looks like there's a hole over here you might be able to peer or crawl through. Do you want to take a look? I'll give you a boost.
I'll give that a try. And she gives like a little salute before getting ready to go through the little hole.
Okay. It's easy enough to squeeze through. There is just enough room for you, and you're very tiny, that you can just slip right through onto the other side. As you do slip into the other side, and you can get a good view of the interior of the house, you can see that it has clearly been lived in. There's not too much dust on the floor. Somebody's been through here relatively recently, but it is extremely barren. A single table set with two chairs, one knocked over on its side. You're in the middle of what looks like a dining room. Off towards one side, there is a very dilapidated couch with stuffing sticking out of it. And the sobbing you hear as you listen for another moment sounds like it's coming from upstairs.
She would dust herself off. She'll dust herself off as she comes into the room, and she'll say, "Sorry for intruding. I came in to see if you were all right." And she'll wait for an answer before moving forward.
Is your only response.
Okay. At that, she'll turn and look through the bit of the crack. It's like, okay, I think they're upstairs. Did you want to wait here for me?
Is there any way that you can go let us in through the front door?
Is the front door boarded up as well?
There are two boards on the front door, one at the 3/4 top and 3/4 bottom.
I'm going to try and remove those if I can.
Okay. Make me an athletics check.
Seriously, guys, this is breaking and entering?
Okay. It is simple enough to just pull off one side. They're pretty sturdy, but you can pull them off, even wedging them with your book if you need to, and sliding them over as you can just pull them both away and then just open the door from the inside.
As she's doing this, there's a yell up the stairs. It's like, "Sorry, I'm just letting my friends in. They're experts at comforting crying people."
Nice job, Vika. Thank you very much. Come on, Dirk. We're going to see what this is about.
Like, this is a felony. Oh,
And
Java.
as Dirk says it, I'll say, cheer up. Perhaps she'll take one of your elixirs.
She probably doesn't have a pot to piss in. Oh, fine.
And Shava will just kind of walk in.
Don't leave me alone out here. Dirk will follow.
Okay. As you all make your way inside, you look back and forth in the home, and you can clearly see everything here is fairly decrepit. Off towards the side of the door, down another room, you see there's what looks like a very poorly furnished bedroom, a single wardrobe, a bed that too has lots of stuffing and straw sticking out of it, and a single flight of stairs that leads up to a sound of even more crying.
I will head upstairs.
You don't have to.
Come on, Dirk.
Okay.
Shava would have followed him.
One by one, you all make your way upstairs. You can see immediately at the end of the staircase, there is a door. But as you leer around past the hallway turn behind you, there is a door that is open, and you can see a hunched figure like laying or sitting on the floor, clearly clutching onto something. And you can tell immediately this is the source of the crying. It appears to be some very disheveled individual wearing a shawl over their head and very tattered robes.
Big person, little person?
They're not too tall. Maybe it's hard to tell with them hunched over.
I mean, is it like a hunched over grown up or like a hunched over little kid?
It appears to be an adult of
Okay.
some persuasion. It's hard to make out what they are with all the clothes around them.
Yeah.
You okay? See, she's helpless.
She doesn't turn at the sound of Dirk's voice.
Does not seem to acknowledge him at all.
Shava would approach slowly and just kind of gently place a hand on her shoulder.
Okay. As you make your way closer and place a hand on her shoulder, you can see that this is a woman. She is older, maybe 50s, maybe even 60s. Her hair runs down the sides of her head, brown. She's wearing a yellow hood, and she is clutching what looks like a child's doll. It's made of burlap, has button eyes. Its mouth is open but sewn back and forth to keep it from flapping wildly. It has long streaks of black hair that run down the sides, and it is wearing a very misshapen yellow dress. And as she's going to place her hand on her shoulder, she just kind of looks up at you, tears streaking down her eyes, and she just kind of stares at you wide-eyed like she doesn't even know what she's looking at.
Yeah, and I'd look at her and I'd just go, are you okay? What's happened?
She kind of pulls the doll a little closer. Oh, I'm not okay. She's gone.
Who's gone?
My daughter is gone.
How long has she been missing?
She disappeared a week ago.
You know, if they don't find him in the first 48 hours.
And as you go to say that, Shava will just kind of look at you. But she'll look at the woman and she'll say, who took her? Or what took her?
She kind of takes a deep breath like she's shoring herself up. She's like, I don't know, but I know who I would guess it would be. It would be the devil. He is who takes everyone who disappears.
Sure. How about a runner-up for the person who would take your daughter?
There's no one else. She wouldn't just leave. She had to stay in the house. I had to keep her safe.
Who is this?
To keep the devil from her.
Who is
the
this?
Devil Strahd.
The Devil Strahd.
Never heard of him.
And as she says that again, I will immediately just kind of look back at her because I've heard that name several times now. And I'll go,
all the young girls, all the ones that find his fancy, just kidnaps them, takes them away from their mothers, who just tried to keep them safe.
Well, there was a child-sized hole in your window. I don't know if anyone kidnapped her, but she may have left through there.
She would not have left me.
Are you
Not
claiming?
her mother, who has tried so hard to keep her safe all these years.
Finka, are you claiming that the child yeeted itself out a window? Through a window?
I'm not familiar with that term, but they definitely left through the window, maybe.
It's an old carnival term. It means when you throw yourself as far as you can. But this mother seems to be very heartfelt, and it sucks that her daughter was influenced by such a player by the name of Strahd. And maybe they just ran off into the woods to have a good marriage. You never know.
Oh, she was taken by the devil's throat. My poor Gertruda.
Now, how would she have been taken? You've got all of your windows and doors boarded up.
I don't know. I just know she has. The devil has powers. He can make you think things that he wants. Take over your mind.
A real Casanova, I see.
He's not the first. I've heard the stories. I know he's been visiting that Kolyana girl, too. My Gertruda's not even enough for him.
You're implying that he lives here? Where would he be?
He lives in the castle Ravenloft on the pillar stone of the mountain. Again, she points up to the sky, the same direction that the woman who earlier this morning William pointed.
Oh, so to where all of the ghosts go.
Yes. I'm starting to sense that something's not right here, and it has to do with that castle.
You'll find her, right? You'll get my Gertruda back. Bring her back to her mother. She needs her mother.
Madam,
Shava will look at her. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Shava will look at her and she'll go, we can certainly try. As she kind of looks back at the others.
Sorry, did you ask her name or her daughter's name?
Her daughter's name. Well, I guess both their names are relevant, but
She said her daughter's name was Gertruda.
Gertruda, okay. Do you remember what she looks like?
Of course I remember what she looks like. She was my daughter. She was beautiful and still so young, like me in my years of youth when I met her father. Oh, her beautiful black hair, her cherubic face, all those pinches of cheeks.
We're definitely sorry. I will tell you, madam, it's most likely that your daughter is dead. But we will venture out and take a look at this Castle Ravenloft. I'm curious about it, so if we happen to find her, we will certainly return her to you.
Who names their daughter Gertruda? Ew.
Shava would ask her one last question, and she just asked her how old she was.
She... One moment, please. I gotta double check this information.
Sure thing.
She's not. She just turned 17.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Ooh, yeah, I have a problem with that. Little Romeo up there going to get some fists if I see him. That's for sure.
She actually shakes the doll for that moment as you say that. He will not have my Gertruda. He can't.
So
and as she shakes the doll, you can see that there is a small tag on the bottom of the foot. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and get a perception check on each of you to see if you can make out what it says as she shakes it wildly back and forth.
So was Gertruda your first choice for a name, or?
Everybody but Vinka reads that the tag says "Is no fun, is no Blinsky," and I will type that in chat for a moment.
Are you familiar with this brand, Dirk?
Well, it's certainly not of the quality that my caravan could ever provide. My caravan's up only the top quality. That seems pretty cheap.
Just keep my daughter back safe and sound. She's all that I have.
Sure. Would you have any form of payment if we were to do this for you?
She just kind of looks at you for that brief moment. I don't have anything. What Gertruda was my entire life. I spent everything keeping her safe.
A title for the house?
That's fine, madam. No title for the house. We know your daughter was your only treasure, and we will certainly take a look into that effect. Dirk, you profiteering off of a woman's pain.
I mean, everyone profiteers off of pain.
Let's leave this woman to her misery and go to the mansion.
I don't do any worse than a cleric.
Yeah, and Shava would kind of squeeze her shoulder one last time and say, we'll do what we can to bring your daughter back before leaving.
You must. And then she just kind of slowly but surely dissolves back more into even more crying.
Well, I'll say this once we get outside. We all know Gertruda is dead, or she's a volunteer participant in her disappearance.
Well, yeah. Yeah. This Ravenloft guy, what was his name? Strahd?
Yes.
I'm not too sure about him. But he does seem to be the only one in this place that has money, considering the fact he has a castle.
Well,
And she'll look at you as you say that. She say, I've heard numerous mentions of him in my time here. He does not seem to be there seems to be something off about him from all the accounts I've seen. He seems to be truly evil.
I mean, what gave that away? The ghosts? The missing children?
something's definitely not right. Day doesn't start with a missing child like this.
Yeah.
Although 17 is not really a child anymore, but this woman's daughter.
It's still a child. For a human, anyway. But yeah.
Maybe this Mr. Bismarck dude, maybe he has access to more information since he's apparently wealthy. And Dirk, perhaps this might be someone you can solicit.
Oh, I ain't soliciting anything. I'm just trying to give people some good goods. But yeah, we should probably go visit him as well. I forgot about him. That good brain on you there, William. Let's go over to that rich guy's house.
Okay. It's easy enough to locate the mansion in the town of Barovia, as it is the only building that stands more than 100 feet across, just down the street that you all are currently sitting on, as a matter of fact. But as you make your way down to it, you can see that it clearly does not hold up to stuff upon looking at it closer. The mansion is very weary looking and squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside while the left swings lazily in the wind. The shuddering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet, against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create a path above all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls. Great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window. All the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains of evil omen.
This is not looking like it's going to be a profitable venture for you, Dirk.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice a trend here.
He can't even afford a gardener.
Maybe we should visit the graveyard after all of this. Next night. We can. If there's all adventurers up there, that means there has to be someone buried.
Dirk, that's twice you've mentioned grave robbing to me, and I'm concerned about it. Don't mention it a third.
They're not using it. Okay.
Vinka gives another roll of her eyes.
Yeah, Shava will kind of like just shake her head at him.
Okay. I understand why I need to be quiet, and I will be quiet.
All right, so Shava, now I don't know about this, but this surroundings of this gentleman's mansion does not look well. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to get out of him, but my goal at this point is information. So I'm telling you because you seem to be, you and Vinka, the smartest people in this group, and I want you to know what our true mission here really is. Dirk, if you can find a chance to make some money, I'm behind you.
Be fair, he was flipping around an electrum coin, which he paid for all of our drinks with, which is far above what was required. So I'm sure he has money.
Exactly.
Electrum is worth less than gold. You never? Okay, sure. Never mind. Don't mind me.
I will proceed with caution.
Okay.
But at a welcomed pace. He did invite us.
All right. You make your way through the front gate up towards the front door of the mansion. Imagine you just give a little knock on the door.
Boom, boom, boom.
After a few moments, you hear from the other side, "Who goes out there?"
It's William Catesby and party. You invited us? Or we were invited by Bismarck, Sir What's-His-Face?
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm going to persuade this motherfucker.
For a brief second, it's quiet on the other side. You just wait right there. We'll have to see if this is true or not.
No, for heaven's sake.
Then it feels quiet. You all are standing outside. 1 minute. 2 minutes. Are you all just going to stand there and wait?
Do I hear anything in the house?
Make a perception check.
Perhaps we should have the salesman knock on the door.
You kind of lean up against the door. You have a listen. It's quiet.
Well, this is a rude reception.
I feel like perhaps they've left. But that's odd, given they invited us.
Is there a window nearby?
There is a window nearby, but it is boarded up.
You know, I'm starting to think that all these houses are condemned. I'm going to go up and I'm going to, as hard as I can, smack on the door.
Okay. You can have another... After another minute or so, you hear again. I told you, just wait.
My name is Dirk Hardsteel. I met with a guy named, I call him Easy E, but his real name is Avenmark. He said to meet him down here.
Make a persuasion check.
We go back way back.
There is another long pause.
That's the
Well,
wrong.
either way, that's a 7. That's a 16. So
Okay.
it's a long-lasting pause before you hear. You met with Ismark?
Oh yeah, he what do you call it? He bought us a round of drinks, told me about the place, and told me that he had a job for me.
And none of you are allied with Strahd.
I heard about the Strahd character kidnapping some little girls, and I ain't too big of a fan personally.
Over the next 30 seconds or so, you start to hear... Well, it sounds like what must be 10 different locks being undone from the inside of this door. And after a long moment, you hear as the door itself starts to open up. On the other side is a tan-skinned woman with very long, straight brown hair. She appears to be wearing red underneath an actual breastplate. She is armored, and she just gives a look to each of you. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure. I turn to look at William and hide my face and wink at him.
You all look like you're outsiders to here.
Well, I did get lost, but now that I have found you, I feel a lot better. Let me tell you what. I ain't doing too shabby right now.
She just gives a slow blink at you. I'm going to get these, Mark. You may come in.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You're a very good lady.
All right. She will turn and make her way in towards one of the interior rooms. And as she does, you just hear her call her, Ismark! I think those individuals that you invited at the inn are finally here.
And as Shaba walks to the door, she'd make a passing comment, and she'd just say, "This is a lot of blocks you have here."
I'm sure you saw the state of our mansion outside. We can't be too careful.
She'll just kind of nod her head.
As you all make your way inside, you hear Ismark call down from the stairs, I will be there in a minute.
So, are you Ismark's sister then? Binka would ask. Curious.
I am his sister as well. I'm his adopted sister.
Nice to meet you.
She will turn and close the door behind you and just begin locking all the locks back again. Once you all make your way inside, you can see the interior of the mansion here is actually well furnished, yet everything here shows signs of a lot of wear and tear. Noticeable oddities are the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every single room. What looks like a starburst pendant of the sun. As you make your way towards another side room, you see laying in the middle of the floor is a coffin with a man laying with his arms crossed inside of it.
You okay there?
I think he's dead.
As you sit there for a moment, the woman kind of walks back in and just says, that is my father. He passed 3 days ago.
Oh, yes.
My condolences.
Ismark told us about that. I'm very sorry for your loss.
The attacks on the house have been hard on him. But I suppose introductions are an honor. I'm Irina Kolyana.
Nice to meet you. Dirk Hardsteel.
William
Binka Delphine Cherry Bottom.
I'm sorry, Vinka. I forget about you down there. My name is William Catesby.
I'm Shaba. Shaba Dustblossom.
I hope you all will be able to help us. At this point, Ismark starts to make his way downstairs, and he kind of looks over you and says, sorry to keep you all waiting. I'm sorry that I could not tell you more, but under the circumstances, we're being a little careful. I'm sure you saw how our house is being treated outside. Over the past couple of days, our house has been besieged by the minions of Strahd. Wolves, undead, shattered our windows, tried to burn our home down. Our poor father, his heart could not stand it. He died 3 days ago. We have not had the opportunity to take him up to the graveyard to put him to proper rest yet.
Why not?
The danger?
It's dangerous to bury somebody in this place?
He kind of looks over at Irina, and she says, they are going to help us. We might have to tell them the truth. That's all we can do. He gives a nod. The reason that the house has been besieged is because Strahd has been trying to visit my sister. He's actually visited her twice so far. And each time he will gesture over to her, and she will pull the side of her neck down, and you can see there are 2 puncture wounds in the side of her neck. He has been preying on her.
Oh, how gruesome.
I fear he means to take her away, so we have not had the opportunity to take his. We wanted someone who could keep us safe as we buried the body. That is what I wanted to ask you about. If you all intend of going to the fortified village of Valaki, then I would ask you if you would take my sister with you. It would be far safer there for her than it would be to stay here.
What's your offer?
Offer? You are going there already, are you not?
I
Do you
give
require
Dirk.
additional compensation?
I give Dirk a glare.
You gotta pay for food.
You have to pay for food. I'm sorry, I'm not accustomed to the strangeness of outsiders. Here in Barovia, everyone takes care of their own means.
We have discovered recently that perhaps this Strahd has preyed upon others in your village. A missing daughter from a lady we just visited. Is this a common occurrence?
He'll take a moment to think about it, and he'll say, "Do you think he means Mary?" And Newsmark will kind of frown. That might be possible.
No, it wasn't Mary. What was the name of the daughter, Vinka?
Gertruda.
Gertrude.
Gertruda.
Gertruda is Mary's daughter.
Oh. Yeah, yes, Mary.
She's a strange one. She holds up in that home, never let her daughter out. I would not be surprised if she just escaped of her own accord.
Well, we've considered that, and it will be eliminated in our investigation.
It's not safe for her one way or the other. If she got out without the protection, it's likely the wolves got to her. Or worse.
Wolves? Is there a wolf problem in the village?
Well, there is a wolf problem in the valley, and the village is no exception.
A wolf problem. You might want to
What
write
kind
that.
of wolves?
All manner of wolves. Standard that hunt in packs, but there are larger ones as well. Ones that are as large as a bear.
And then she'll look and she'll say, I think I saw proof of that earlier when I entered the village.
Of a large wolf?
They had torn a man to pieces.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, the wolves of this place are strange. They are unnaturally smart. They serve the devil. They do his bidding.
And I take it the devil is Strahd, right? His name?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Strahd von Zarovich.
So, I'm curious then. How would one go about approaching this Strahd person? We have a salesman. I mean, I suppose we have a front door approach.
I would not encourage that in the slightest. Strahd is a tyrant.
Well, I feel like we need to help you out, and we've got Mary.
And as I hear them kind of say that he's a tyrant, she's going to look at Irina again, and she's going to say, and you say he bit you.
Yes. I don't remember a lot about it. Memories are very fuzzy. I just remember eyes. Almost like he was looking through me, but everything else is just a blur. And then after the first time, she'll again rub the part where she had the 2 puncture marks on her neck. He came back a second time, but after that, my father would not hear any more of it. We started to barricade the house, and that is when the attacks began.
May I inspect the wounds?
Make a persuasion check, because she kind of looks over at Ismark, and he kind of looks warily over to her.
Yeah, no, I'm like walking up, like reaching out, wanting to like touch her neck. And...
She will pull the scarf down once more. Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Medicine.
Okay. Looking at them, you can see they'd go maybe an inch or 2 down into her neck. A very severe bite. And anyone who was trained in any real profession or heard of lore or creatures like this, if you were this is what you would imagine when you would hear somebody has been attacked by a vampire.
All right. I keep that information to myself, but she said something just as I was about to do that, or you said something just as I was about to do that, and I wanted to touch back on that, but I forgot what it was. Damn it. All right, carry on. I just wanted to look at the wounds, and yes, as I turn back around, I'm going to look at Vinka and just say the word just to see if she recognizes it, vampire, and just see if she can I'm not going to say it out loud, but just enough that she can read my lips and for her book.
I assume my character would know of this, correct?
Of vampires? I mean, everyone's heard legends of vampires.
Okay. Can I make maybe
It'd be an Arcana check. I mean, you've heard the standard stories: creatures who stalk the night, feed on the blood of the living.
all right. In that case, she just kind of gives a and scribbles that down. So what is it that you all needed help with? Do you want us to help you move the body tonight, or just walk your sister to the next town?
I definitely want to say, I'm not going anywhere until my father is buried and safe.
Very well then.
And Ismark will kind of look condescendingly over and say, we have to put our father to rest. And after that, I would like someone to escort Arena.
I have a method for moving objects, which might be easier than just lugging it by hand, if you're interested. It being the coffin, not your father.
Anything would be appreciated if it helps.
Do we need to employ a couple of grave diggers? Is that a thing in this village?
The father has already had the hole dug.
Oh, the hole's already dug. So we just need to escort the body out there.
And he'll say, I will not see him buried without me.
All right. So you can come along then, right? Can we... I'm a man of action. I'm like, all right, let's go.
We should do this sooner than later, while the day is still light.
What's your method of mobility there, Vinka?
Oh, it's a spell. It's called She flips through her book.
I know this spell.
It's called Tensor's Floating Disc.
Ah, I've heard of that. Interesting. Dirk, are you willing to help escort? I'm sure Shava is. She seems most honorable.
I guess. I mean, I'm perfectly okay just staying here if you really... no, you probably need me. Okay, yeah, sure.
Do you have a sword, Dirk?
Yes, I have a sword, I have a shield, I have a
ball. Then you are perfect for what we need.
Cool, I'll carry the casket.
No, Vinka's gonna... The little one, the halfling, Vinka is going to handle the casket.
You see Vinka just kind of flex her muscles at Dirk.
Yeah.
Cute.
Don't judge by size, Dirk.
Size is everything, William.
Coming from a man named Hardsteel, that does not surprise me.
All right, we should do it sooner than later. Father Lucian is not expecting us, but we should be able to deliver it before the day gets too late.
Sure.
All right. You may go ahead and cast your spell, Vinka.
Yes. Yeah, the total 10 minutes that it takes for me to do this as a ritual. And yeah, we would get Pappy up on the disc and hopefully float him without too much issue to the graveyard.
All right. As you are taking the 10 minutes to cast the spell, we'll go ahead and take our 15-minute break because we've been going for about 2 hours, and I imagine everybody could take a chance to stretch their legs.
Super. Break time.
We'll be back in 10, 15, depends how quickly we can get this done.
Hello.
And welcome back. So, as the game took to its break, the group had loaded the body of Kolyan Indirovich onto the back of this floating invisible disc conjured by Vinka. You all make your way across the town from the south side up towards the far northern side, the two polar ends of the town. As you walk by, you could hear that Mary has begun to cry deeply once more, her sobs echoing throughout the rain of the street. Ismark and Arena share kind of almost worried glances as they make their way by. But as you make your way up the street proper, you arrive up at the hill. Atop a slight rise, against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft, stands a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. This church has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end, and it is worn and wary. A bell tower resides toward the back, and flickering light shines through holes in the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. The heavy wooden doors of the church are covered with claw marks and scarred by fire.
When you say claw marks, are you talking a human-sized hand or a
Make a nature check.
beast-sized hand? Well, my character sheet just blanked. Here, hang on. There we go. Nature.
The good rolls with William, starting a new character off strong.
Yes.
Looking at them, you get the impression that these are wolf marks, as each of them bear clear-cut examples of when dogs just continue to claw at a door because they cannot get their way through it. But judging by some of the marks, some of these wolves were very large indeed.
There is definitely a wolf problem here, Vinka.
I'll be sure to keep my eye open.
So I think we should take this around to the graveyard then?
We should tell the father that we are here first.
Oh, okay. Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Shava.
Curse. Sorry.
No, you're all right. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying that as we saw the marks on the gate, Shava was going to draw her rapier.
Okay. As you do, Ismark will step up and kind of pry open the heavy wooden door at the front, and he will kind of look in. As you all do stare inside here, the doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, lead to adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you hear a soft voice from within citing a prayer. Suddenly, the prayer is blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises up from beneath the floor. Father! I'm so hungry! Why won't you feed me?
Vinka kind of darts her eyes between the other people present and just kind of like, what?
Ismark and Irene are kind of exchange glances as well, like they aren't quite sure what they were listening to there. But as you all step inside, the body floating behind you, Vinka, the man who is over there kind of turns, looks at you all, wearing priestly vestments and wearing a gold chain of a sunburst, familiar holy symbol that you all saw back in the mansion of Arenas and Ismark's. And he will say, "Welcome to the Church of the Morning Lord. How may I be of service to you?"
Do you need a lozenge? Who is screaming? Why are you here? And anyone else got a question to throw out in here?
I will approach the priest and offer my hand and introduce myself. William Catesby. I too am a man of the cloth.
It is a pleasure. I am Father Donovich.
Ah, Father Donovich. Very nice to meet you. We're here to bury this wonderful man.
Kolyan Inderovich.
Yes, Ismark, you mentioned that you needed to have your father buried. I was very sorry to hear of his loss. We can do this soon, while the sun is still up. Now we will need to take him out behind the graveyard.
Are we just going to forget that someone screamed?
I was just going to say, I can't help but notice he never answered our other question.
And as you say that, you hear that voice coming in. Father, I'm hungry! And you see, when he hears that, he just kind of closes his eyes and starts to murmur something to himself.
Father, it seems as though somebody needs some food. Is that something that you need to take care of real quick? We'll go ahead and take this body out back.
No, please ignore my son, Doru. He is very sick.
You should try feeding him.
Well, if he's sick, I got a perfect tincture for that.
A tincture?
Yes. See, right here, I got a patented medicine that no one has. That those top clerics over at the top churches, like, they just don't want you to know about. It's called Moriarty's Improved Liquid Moxie Tincture, and I pull it out and I show it to him. And it's a simple 10 gold, whatever his ailment, I guarantee it will do something for it.
He kind of looks you up and down a little warily, but he will say, "Are you positive it can cure anything?"
Oh, I said it could help anything.
Make me a deception check at advantage. He will kind of look at you for a moment before saying, "What would you ask me for this?"
Oh, for you, Father, for a man of the cloth, this could be yours for a mere 30 gold.
Dirk. I must object at this point. This is ridiculous. You have the man's attention. Fair price. A fair price.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Just for you today, and it will be 25 gold. And I look over at William and I whisper into his ear, "Look, man, I'm just trying to make $1." Okay, so 25 gold just for you.
I'm afraid I do not have that much money.
Oh, well, and he starts putting it into his bandolier. I'm sure you'll be able to raise it within due time.
That's all right, Father. Don't worry about it. Dirk, let's bury this poor man.
But if you would be willing to trade, I would be happy to offer my priestly services for free.
I'm sure Dirk would be willing to give you a bottle of his tincture for your priestly services today, Father. That's a brilliant idea.
If I come across a malady that I believe you could help, I will absolutely trade for it.
I see.
As you see, I am a worshiper of, and he pulls out a holy symbol, Bahamut, and he guides me everywhere.
He kind of murmurs something himself too again. And he says, I understand. We should move out to the graveyard and see the deed is done.
Sure thing.
He will turn and make his way towards the front of the church as you all hear another scream echo up from beneath the floorboards, much more of the same. Once you are outside, Ismark will actually ask Danovich, has your son been like this very long? What happened to Doru? And the father will just say, ever since that damned wizard came to here and took our people away, he has been like this. Ismark just kind of nods his head in acknowledgement of that, as they will lead you back past a fence into the graveyard behind the church. Out here, you can see there are a cacophony of gravestones, all of them pointed off towards the east, towards the theoretically rising sun, though you haven't seen any sign of the sun just yet. He heads towards the back of the graveyard, and back there you can see is a gravestone that has already been chiseled with the words Kolyan Indirovich, born. Well, give me 1 second as I double check my notes here. It's always a pain in the butt finding this page. I apologize. Just give me 1 hot second.
I lean over to William. Look, man, if you're going to start costing me money, you're going to have to start paying for it, okay? Completely without accent.
The birth year for that is 671. The death year is 735. And this immediately strikes as a little odd, as the last time you all checked, the year was 1461.
1461 is our current year. I was going to ask you though.
Yeah, 1461.
Yeah, so Shama would mention that. She'd say, I think that doesn't look correct.
It is correct.
They must be using some sort of Gregorian calendar over here. When does 0 start for you?
He kind of takes a moment to think about that. I don't remember.
Wait, you would remember year 0?
So, how off is the date on the gravestone?
By about 700 years by your counting.
So, according to the gravestone, this man died 700 years ago. Is that the information I'm
The man you are burying, who just had this engraved, who died 3 days ago, died in the year 735.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So yeah, like their calendars like really off, or
This is most interesting. And the sun, is he right there?
Yeah, Ismark and Arena are standing there. They're actually currently moving the coffin off of the floating disc to lower it down into the grave.
Ismark, can you explain this difference on the date? I was very curious. What year is it, Ismark?
735.
I look at Vinka.
He looks over at Arena and she kind of thinks and she nods her head.
Is it unusual for the travelers that suddenly appear here to be from different times?
What do you mean different times?
Where I come from, which is outside of Waterdeep, it is 1461.
Ismark kind of furrows his brow. That is the first time ever hearing of that.
So I'm going to probably have to make some sort of perception check or something. I want to like look around because now I'm interested in the architecture, the clothes they're wearing. Does, 700 years, I might notice some subtle differences.
Make a perception check.
To see if, oh yeah, look at the shit, the buttons that they got are 700-year-old buttons.
All of their clothing is rather drab and uncolorful, much like the land itself. Everything is just kind of gray washed. But nothing about it suggests that it's ancient or much older. It just seems to be ratty and drab.
Right.
Not like it's been passed down, but almost like they've.
Well, no, I was thinking more of about style. Like the cut of the clothes or the trim on the architect. I don't know. Maybe that's a little too highbrow for D&D.
Is, I would say it's older, but it's also a thing where the style itself is not unheard of.
Right. It's not that drastically different.
Yeah. You're not sure if it's just because this is older time, or they're
Or
just
Barovia,
you don't know
right.
where you are, so it could be possible this is just their customs.
Right. Okay. This is most interesting.
Looking around the graves, you can see many of them also are all along the same period. There is no year here that is post 730, minus the new one. Well, 735 rather.
Let me ask you this. How does it seem like there are older graves, like people that died, like several hundred years ago, or are all of these graves seem to be within a window of time?
Make an investigation check. Looking around the graves here, the oldest graves you can find go back to the year, as I do a mental check on myself here, 351 is the earliest you find as a death date.
So it's about a 400-year window. We're 700 years away. All right. I'm ready to carry on. Let's bury this guy.
All right. As you all are standing around just looking around, noticing what you can, the father is saying hymns out to this figure, which he describes as the Morning Lord, offering praises, new light in the dawn, may the sun shine on your next progression, so on and so forth. And as he is doing so, he is holding that sunburst holy symbol right underneath his chest. Mark is standing there with his head lowered. Arena is standing there, just kind of staring into the grave with a very sad expression on her face. And as you all are sitting and waiting, it takes about 10 minutes total as this is slowly progressing, going through. And as the father kind of opens up his eyes and starts to approach what you feel is the end, there is a soft rumble of thunder over the rain. And as you all kind of look off towards what would be the north, you see that there is another line of fog just slowly rolling over towards the graveyard.
Time to go now, perhaps?
Yeah, I don't want to go further back in time.
That fog looks very ominous.
Hurry up with that hymn there, Father. We got to get going.
He kind of looks up for a second, distracted, and looks over towards the fog.
Maybe their abridged version?
He'll nod, and he will slowly begin to work his way a little faster through it. They're trying not to hurry too expeditedly. As he comes to the end, the layer of fog slowly rolls up against the graveyard fence. And as it does so, you see it almost build and start to split along the iron gate, like it is keeping it from passing, and start to roll upwards, almost like a dome, curving over the graveyard.
That's wicked.
Time to split.
Mark, at this point, noticing that, will say, yes, I think it is time to go. I will finish burying the effort of another day. Arena. She will turn and they will start making their way towards the front of the church. Father kind of jogging along, almost waddling on behind them with his slightly more obese form.
What about your child there, Father?
What about Doro? We need to get inside the church or we'll be safe.
You're not going to get your kid?
He is inside the church where I am going.
Oh, okay. I thought he was underground. Okay. Don't worry about me.
They rush
I follow.
Yeah. And as you start to follow, you see what almost looks like a bubble burst as the fog just rolls, splice over, and starts to fill the graveyard. Oh, shit. Like a pool. One moment, please. As I just knocked a lamp over. I just knocked a lamp over. It's fine. It's a plastic lamp. It didn't shatter. We're totally fine here. How about you?
I think it surprised him.
And as you all rush into the church itself, you can see slowly but surely that fog rolls past it, sticking to the walls, filling the graveyard, and starting to etch its way up the sides of the church. Slowly but surely as it does so, I would like all of you to make me a perception check at disadvantage, please. As you all listen carefully, you do hear sounds of the groaning of the building just as the fog rolls on, almost like it's heavy on the building. The creaking of fencing. As you watch carefully, you see 3 marks, almost like claws, but overly large, like blades, drag across one of the church's exterior windows. After a few seconds, you hear this roof itself begins to shudder, like something is pressing down on it. Father Donovich is sitting on the altar, rocking back and forth, holding his holy symbol, chanting words of prayer and hoping for censor of protection. Ismark and Arena are sitting farther back in the hall near where the doors are. Ismark, a hand on a sword, and Arena, a hand on hers. They just kind of look around cautiously. As you all wait for a moment, the fog begins to slowly pile over the top of the church and funnel in like a faucet has been turned on, filling the interior of the church and blinding each and every single one of you. As you sit there for a second, looking around, listening, you hear Ismark say, "Arena, I'm still here." The father's words of chanting constantly coming. Then you feel something brush by you, Shava. A figure just kind of slip past you. And that pendant on your neck, you hear it whisper, "You should be running. You shouldn't be here."
So I'd look around, and I can't see anyone, so I would just kind of call out, we really shouldn't stay here.
As those slow seconds pass by, you hear as the fog parts just enough, as you see Father Donovich is being held aloft by what look like 3 red, almost sword-like claws pierced through each side of his shoulders and one through his rib cage by a creature that looks like... I know I have this handout somewhere in here. Where are you, handouts? Come on. Work with me here. Work with me here. There you are. Oh, I did not make the handout for this. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll just have to describe it to you and give it to you next week. It stands about 8 feet tall. Its skin is emaciated, almost undead-like. Its mouth has receded gums that reveal its skeletal teeth clicking out that steam and mist is pouring down from. And as it kind of looks around with empty eye sockets at each of you, it looks up at Father Donovich, and its entire body turns to mist as you see it drop through the floor, taking Father Donovich with it.
You just hear Vinka scream from wherever she is.
After a few seconds, you hear another scream from something down below. And then you hear something scraping against it sounds like stone down below. And at that point, you hear Doro say, "Father! Father! You finally brought me food!"
Oh, no.
And that's what we're going to call session this week.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think that's our signal to just leave.
Oh. Yeah, the Frank is coming out of me.
I hope everyone enjoyed session this week. It's a nice little return to form after we lost 3 players. Nobody died this week, but well, you haven't rolled initiative just yet. We'll be getting that soon enough, I assure you.
Tomorrow.
Next week, surely, possibly, maybe. On the agenda, this coming Monday, we have Domains of Dread, one of our bi-weekly sessions here at TTRP Theater, followed up on Tuesday with Prowlers and Paragons, our noir superhero classic set in Renaissance City. On Wednesday, we have Cult the Heartland, our newer cult series set in the heart of rural America. Come see the crew as they try to look into the murder of Emma Hauser. Later that night, we have A Land of Dark Dreams, a homebrew run by our own DM Opal, the mysteries of the stillborn dead, the scions of Atropos, and more. Come watch as the group deals with the ramifications of killing a black dragon. On Thursdays, we have Scald's Tale, our new Pathfinder 2E experience, followed up by Waterdeep Dragon Heist, run by DM Dan. The group has just recently found itself inside of a haunted house. I'm sure that won't go poorly for them at all. Lastly, on Saturdays, we have Adventure with the Advantage, taking place on Saturday mornings, a ragtag group tackling the classic adventure of Lost Mines of Phandelver before being fed to the fires of hell in Descent into Avernus. And then again, Saturday evening, we are back with Curse of Strahd as I continue to torture these poor souls in an adventure that is not for the faint of heart. Anybody else have anything to discuss with us before we hop on out of here?
I would just plug YouTube. Make sure you go and hit us up on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. All of our past episodes are available on YouTube on demand. You can go watch them anytime you want. And this one will be available on YouTube. Well, after all the uploading and downloading and editing and all that good stuff, it'll be up there tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. If you've missed any session, you want to go back, catch up, or you just really like what you heard, want to hear it again, everything can be found on YouTube. Or you can watch it immediately on our VOD if you are a subscriber to the TTRP Theater channel.
Yep.
And
that's all I got.
You can find all of us on the TTRP Discord server. It's shown up several times in the chat, and I believe there's a link below.
There is. If you just look in the information below, you can find the link to our Discord server at TTRP Theater. Just come on, talk to us. We are great people. We love talking to fans, other people. Maybe you're interested in getting into a game. We're always looking to expand, especially if you have GM experience. We would love to see what you have.
Nope, that's
but
everything.
I think that about wraps up for us tonight. Thank you all so much for enjoying. We will be picking our story up again next Saturday at the same Strahd time, same Strahd channel. I've been DM Lake, and thank you and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, guys.